Join me as I dive into the story of Moses and take on the challenge of exploring how he led the Israelites to freedom from Egyptian slavery. The story of Moses and the Exodus is one of the most iconic tales of liberation in human history, transcending cultures and time, and its significance cannot be overstated. It's a story that has inspired countless generations, and its impact can still be felt today. From art to literature, music to film, the story of Moses has been retold and reinterpreted in countless ways, a testament to its enduring power and relevance. The Israelites had been living in Egypt for centuries, but over time they found themselves subjected to harsh slavery under the rule of the pharaohs. Egyptian slavery was brutal, with the Israelites forced to work long hours in treacherous conditions, building monumental cities and structures that would become the hallmark of ancient Egyptian civilization. The Egyptians saw the Israelites as nothing more than a means to an end, a workforce to be exploited and discarded, and they were treated with utter contempt and disdain. As the Israelites toiled in the scorching deserts, their spirits were crushed, and their sense of identity was slowly eroded. The Egyptians imposed harsh restrictions on the Israelites, limiting their freedom and autonomy, and forcing them to live in a state of constant fear and subjugation. The Israelites were not allowed to practice their own customs and traditions, and they were forced to adopt Egyptian ways, leading to a loss of cultural identity and heritage. Despite these challenges, the Israelites held on to their faith, and their desire for freedom never wavered, even in the face of overwhelming oppression. As the years passed, the Israelites' cry for help grew louder, and their prayers were finally answered when Moses, an Israelite who had been raised as an Egyptian, emerged as their leader. Moses had a unique perspective on the world, having been educated in the ways of the Egyptians, but also having a deep understanding of his own people's struggles and aspirations. He was the perfect candidate to lead the Israelites out of slavery, and his journey would become one of the most epic tales of all time. Moses' story is a testament to the power of courage, perseverance, and faith, and it continues to inspire people to this day. The plagues that God unleashed upon Egypt were a series of devastating disasters that struck at the heart of Egyptian society, causing widespread destruction and chaos. The plagues began with the turning of the Nile River into blood, followed by a plague of frogs, and then a plague of lice or gnats. The Egyptians were horrified, and they begged Moses to stop the plagues, but he refused, insisting that the Pharaoh must release the Israelites from slavery. The plagues continued, with a plague of flies, a plague of disease on the Egyptian livestock, and a plague of boils, each one more severe than the last. The Egyptians were powerless to stop the plagues, and they were forced to watch as their country was torn apart by the wrath of God. As the plagues drew to a close, the Israelites prepared to leave Egypt, packing their belongings and gathering their livestock. They had been instructed by Moses to mark their doorposts with the blood of a lamb, so that the angel of death would pass over their homes, sparing their firstborn sons. The Egyptians, on the other hand, did not have this protection, and their firstborn sons were struck down, a devastating blow to the Egyptian people. The Israelites took this as a sign that God was with them, and they set out on their journey, following Moses into the unknown. They traveled through the desert, guided by a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, and they began to forge a new identity as a free people. The Israelites' journey was not without its challenges, however, and they soon found themselves trapped between the Egyptian army and the Red Sea. The Egyptians had changed their minds about letting the Israelites go, and they were determined to catch them and bring them back into slavery. The Israelites were terrified, but Moses stood tall, holding up his staff and praying to God for deliverance. And then, in a moment that would be etched in history forever, the Red Sea parted, and the Israelites walked through the waters, escaping the clutches of the Egyptians. The Egyptians, on the other hand, were not so fortunate, and they were drowned in the sea as the waters closed over them. The Israelites' journey to freedom was long and arduous, but they finally emerged on the other side, free from the bondage of slavery and ready to start a new life. They had been through so much and they had seen the incredible power of God, but they had also learned the value of perseverance and faith. As they looked back on their journey, they knew that they had been given a rare gift, a chance to start anew and to forge a new identity as a free people. The story of Moses and the Exodus is a reminder that freedom is not just a physical state, but also a state of mind, and that it is never too late to seek freedom and start anew. The journey of the Israelites from slavery to freedom is a testament to the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times there is always hope, and that with faith and perseverance anything is possible. As we reflect on this incredible story, we're reminded of the power of leadership and the importance of standing up for what is right, even in the face of overwhelming opposition. Moses' legacy continues to inspire people to this day, and his story serves as a reminder that freedom is a fundamental human right and that it is worth fighting for. What are your thoughts on freedom and leadership? Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you had to stand up for what you believed in, even if it meant going against the status quo? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to check out our next video, where we'll be exploring another epic story from history.